In a way, um, it seems impossible not to pose the infinitely, how would you say, ticklish question: is Zizek caught in the myth of the pure mind? So, how can he say there's a universal position except by doing something like saying, okay, here we are in the cave, Plato's cave, and then we talk things over, and we talk things over in a way that we uh, become well informed. Um, we are honest about the information we have. Yes, we know there's such a thing as bounded rationality or whatever, but on the key moral issues that doesn't necessarily come in. Racism, for example, perhaps. Dugan also takes up the universalist position against racism, apparently, at least on the face, at least that's what he says, um, taking his position as what he says, rather than trying to ask whether that's really his position. So somehow, yes, some positions seem to be the ones that any self-respecting person must take in the light of publicity, as it were. But is that really the possession of the truth, full stop? Apparently, Dugan is able to state his case in the light of publicity without simply making a fool of himself. That's my impression. I don't know, in a way, the only way Zizek is able to get away with that, I wonder, is if it's simply so complex to demonstrate what his error is. And it's, most people get exhausted before they can think it through. Um, so Leo Strauss, I think at the beginning of his career, he wrote some paper where he began along the lines of, we should try to once again arouse a prejudice for Platonic investigations or Platonic studies or something along those lines. Let's just say, let's be more stressful. Once a prejudice towards Plato, let's say, or the kind of philosophy Plato did. But the point is that Nietzsche made this claim that there is no pure position, no passionless position. Um, okay, we have to make some kind of saving clause here because passion in itself, we can understand the passions as in themselves indifferent, but then with the mind, we say this: when somebody's angry, when there's been something, a murder has occurred or something, and they think there's been injustice, that they're passionately angry about that, they want to see the man punished, whatever. Sometimes the emotions, if we interpret them according to the pure mind, we get to the position where we know how the emotions should be distributed and how when it's appropriate to be angry, when it's not appropriate to be angry, and so on and so forth. But is there really this position of reason as the sovereign, autonomous, uh, immediate power, uh, um, and perhaps that we can get to through, for instance, Kant's maxim, Kant's famous maxim, for instance, where he says no one should lie ever. So we're supposed to breed a kind of being which never lies under any condition, and that's clearly the dictate of reason, according to that view. So where is the negotiation Zizek's making between the full dictate of reason, as it would seem that nothing is in the way, no empirical barrier can stop us, and these limited dictates of reason, when he says the Russian is wrong to uh, be on Putin's side, insofar as the Russian is merely someone who says Russia is my country and I'm with my country, wrong or right. And Zizek says that's the most evil thing possible, to say you're with your country, wrong or right. And then he says the people protesting the special military operation, Operation Z, which he calls the rape or the invasion of Ukraine, are wrong. So I think of some of the Americans who do the realpolitik uh, investigation of the issues, like Merkheimer, bring out arguments that show this in a certain, if you're at a certain distance, this ceases to make sense. This argument that the uh, the Fukuyama arguments that the so-called liberal democratic and then that you need a long interpretation. What does that actually mean? Um, Regime is the right one. It seems nice to the people that are in that, but then you don't reflect that actually America under that regime has killed about 900,000 people in recent wars in Afghanistan and in Iraq and in Libya and in Syria and so on. 900,000 people is not even comparable to what's going on now. A couple tens of thousands. It's comparable, but it's not the order of magnitude. It's very different. Um, but apparently, there's this sense that Putin is evil, but that liberal democratic countries are absolved from any guilt because it's just the leaders that are doing it. And even those leaders aren't denounced in any way like the way Putin's being denounced now. So I wonder if we need a totally new sort of perspective for this kind of analysis. Uh, First of all, can Zizek actually, after thinking everything through, reject the Nietzschean claim that there's some prejudice in his view? Zizek, who actually says he doesn't really see anything he thinks is right, neither England, neither America, Pax Americana, neither Habermas, nobody on the left does he even agree with. So how can he be in this confession of faith zone with regard to that? But he still thinks, okay, we're going in that direction of the perfect grasp of the pure reason. Uh, and if he thought that through, then you have a paradox, which is the most we can possibly think through brings us to the view that the most we can possibly bring through is still not the pure reason. We're still in history. We're still uh, perhaps more close to what Heidegger is trying to analyze, just being floating in the radically um, unfounded dispensation of faith, radically mysterious dispensation of faith, in Strauss's phrase. The I shall be as I shall be, not the scientific world where you can God is as He is, and we can just